Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Cardano and its native token ADA. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. We also do have the ITC2 stake pool. If you want to grow an interest on your ADA, make sure to check that out at staking.intothecryptoverse.com. Let's go ahead and jump in. So ADA is now trading for a very modest $2.88. And our speculation all along was that when Bitcoin gets above the 20-week moving average, we know that altcoins can move. And we've seen this play out yet again. A lot of altcoins have actually not moved against Bitcoin, but some of them have, and some of them have made pretty impressive moves. For instance, the weekly time frame, you can see that ADA, starting August 9th, which is when Bitcoin opened its first weekly candle above the 20-week moving average, starting August 9th, the valuation of ADA against Bitcoin is now up about 88%. Okay, now again, no one's getting out of bed for an 88% move against Bitcoin, but it does go to show you how strong ADA is, that it's recovered so quickly from the low that it hit this past summer. It's already up approximately 3x just from where it was a couple months ago. Okay, go look at the chart here, because we went down to about $1 back at the capitulation in July. And from that wick, ADA is now up almost 200%, which represents a 3x move. Now, is ADA likely to hit $3? Well, the answer to that question likely is just if Bitcoin stays above the 20-week. It lies with that answer. Or if Bitcoin is able to stay above the 20-week for just a couple, at this rate, a day or two, but definitely the next few weeks, it seems very likely that ADA is going to blast through the $3 milestone. I ultimately do see ADA trending much higher than $3 this market cycle, but we do have to take it one milestone at a time. So the first milestone, of course, being that we broke earlier this year was $1, and then $2, and now we are about to break $3, assuming Bitcoin can just hang out at these levels. Remember, it doesn't even have to hang out at these levels for very long. As long as it just doesn't go parabolic, and as long as it doesn't go back down below the 20-week moving average, there is a high probability that ADA will cross the $3 milestone relatively soon, in fact. Okay, at this rate, it should not take too much longer for that to happen. Now, when you look at the ADA Bitcoin valuation, it still has not even made it to the wick that it hit just a few days ago. And for it to get to that level, it would need to rally another 5% or so. If the valuation of ADA, this is the ADA valuation against the US dollar. Sorry, if you look at the ADA Bitcoin valuation, it's actually just a few percentage points below where the prior local top was for Bitcoin, about 2 or 3%. But anyways, the prior all-time high for ADA is against Bitcoin is all the way up at around 8,700 Satoshis, or another 50% move. So if ADA put in another 50% move against the US dollar for a constant Bitcoin, it would actually have it breaking $4, okay, which would be a very impressive milestone. Now, I told you guys several weeks ago that I think that ADA will stay relatively strong at going into the launch of smart contracts in mid-September. So right now, we are just a few days out of September. We could see ADA stay strong like this for a couple more weeks. And you might want to think that it will just keep going up indefinitely without a stronger pullback or some level of consolidation. But I would contend that we would probably pull back at some point in late September, if we haven't by then, just to consolidate a little bit before ultimately trending higher. Remember, ADA has moved up from about $1 to almost $3 without very many consequential pullbacks, okay? Now, does it need to pull back now? Hell no, it doesn't, right? $3. I think $3 is certainly possible as long as Bitcoin holds these levels. Even $4 is possible, I think, as long as Bitcoin holds these levels. Now, to go much further beyond that, I do believe that Bitcoin would need to probably put in all-time highs. But at this point, I think that a $3 ADA is possible. Even a $4 ADA is possible at this rate, especially if our contention is that it can stay strong for the next 2.5 weeks. Obviously, the strength that it will show that I'm referring to is against other altcoins, not against the US dollar. So again, if Bitcoin pulls back 20 or 30%, of course ADA will pull back with it, but it's what I expect to happen after that. I expect ADA to bounce after any pullbacks fairly in a strong manner, stronger than most other altcoins. Okay, so this is the expectation that it might not constantly trend up against the US dollar, but it is likely outperforming many altcoins. And the best of both worlds is to have it go up and put in new all-time highs against the US dollar, assuming that Bitcoin is holding the line. One of the things I told you guys back in May is that most cryptocurrencies will not put in new all-time highs until after Bitcoin does, but that hopefully we've managed to pick out a few of them that will. There's always some coins that manage to do that, right? We followed. I mean, Link was another great example back in 2019 that put in new all-time highs well before Bitcoin did. So there always tends to be some cryptocurrencies that are capable of doing so. Solana is also another one that has been doing that fairly recently. So it's always nice to have some of these cryptocurrencies that are able to do that. And when they do that, it shows you what they are fully capable of. So imagine what they should be able to accomplish whenever Bitcoin is at six figures one day, and after it's done with its parabolic move, that'll get it to over six figures. And what could the altcoin market do then? Well, a lot of times it's best to stick with the winners. And so far, as I've said for years now, as I told you guys in 2019, that ADA is the racehorse for the market cycle. It reminded me of this meme, so I went ahead and made one. But it goes something like this. Spend 2019 and 2020 telling everyone that ADA is going to $10 when it's trading for pennies. Tell everyone they're investing in what will become, not what it was back then. They're mad at me for saying it won't go to $100 this year. And then it's like, wait a second. You're gonna trust this other person that tells you it's going to go to $100 when they probably didn't even know what ADA was when it was 2 cents. So I think some perspective is needed. You shouldn't necessarily just discount the guy that is putting out more conservative price predictions just because you want your portfolio valuation to go higher. If you ultimately are led to believe that ADA is going to go to $100 this year and it doesn't, then that is not a good thing, especially if people make some bad decisions with that expectation in mind. So I would not assume that ADA is going to go to these very lofty valuations this year. It's funny how quickly people can change their opinion of you. You say something's going to go up 1,000x basically in a few years, and then once it reaches that 200x milestone or 150x milestone, you remind people that that 1,000x mark is still sort of the maximum limit that you could have ever seen it going. But that doesn't help the people that just bought it today, and so they're obviously going to get upset about that kind of stuff. But I just thought it was funny. I'm sure some of you guys can relate to this if you've told some friends about crypto and whatnot, and obviously everyone wants to continue seeing gains. Don't we all, right? We all want ADA to do well. I do think that it's going to trend higher this cycle. I ultimately think that $10 is a good target, plus or minus a few bucks. The highest I could see it going, I feel like the highest I could probably see it going is maybe 20. And if it did that, I feel like it would be for a brief moment in time. Okay. And that's not to say that it can't go above $20 eventually. I just think that we are going to need a substantial pullback in the market at some point, upwards of 70 to 80%, where we can gather ourselves, get accustomed to the new normal, and then ultimately trend higher. But for now, I would say a $10 target for the market cycle, and by the way, again, I do think the cycle will go past this year, is reasonable. And if it overshoots that, I think that's perfectly fine. It was always $10 plus or minus a few dollars. I'm generally thinking maybe like $8 to $14. And if it goes above 14, then I would just say it's icing on the cake. Icing on the cake above those levels. If it goes to $20, you might want to get Forbes on the line at that point. Okay, so let us continue on. Let's see if ADA can break the $3 milestone. Okay, we're not that far away from it. In fact, we already went up to around $2.96. I don't know why it's showing a wick here. Oh, it's because it's calculated by trading. But if you go look at like the hourly time frame, you can tell we have not hit the $3 milestone yet. We've gone up to about 296. We've gone up to about 296 or so. So we're only 13 cents away from it. I do think we're probably going to break it as long as Bitcoin holds these levels. We hold the level, Bitcoin just sits. I don't even care. Like Bitcoin doesn't have to go back up. It doesn't have to break 50K. It doesn't have to go to 55K. If it just sits, if it does nothing, I think that is sufficient to get ADA over the edge of that $3 milestone. We'll see what happens. If you guys like the content, remember to subscribe to the channel. Also, check out the ITC2 stake pool. You can also stake with ITC as well, but the ITC2 stake pool is nowhere even close to saturation. And so I think that is a better choice in the long run if you are just now staking with us. Also, we do have the sale on the premium list that's going to end on Sunday. So if you guys want to lock in the low rate, make sure you guys check that out in the description below. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, click the bell icon to turn on notifications, and I will see you next time. Bye.